everyone. So, welcome to the latest episode of the Love of the Game Cricket Pod. So, it's been a while since we are shooting. So, it's kind of IPL is like proper, like mid of the tournament, like towards the end, maybe we can say so or something. But like it's been a like very a run fest basically. Like we have seen like records being shattered, like teams chasing 260 plus and all those kind of things. Especially, I think the impact player rule has kind of made a huge difference to this. I think personally, I'm not a great fan of it. I think the all-rounders kind of go out of the game a bit. I think Rohit Sharma also said that in an interview. But anyway, so I think like today's like focus is none other than the bowling legend Jasprit Bumrah. So it can be basically a tribute kind of video towards his accomplishments, towards what makes him so special. Like what is Jasprit Bumrah actually? So thanks to Omkar for joining us. Like so, it's been a like pleasure like doing it with you earlier also. So thanks for joining. And so let's now come right into it. So Jasprit Bumrah. So if my take would be like I think the person who deserves a lot of credit for what Jasprit Bumrah today is, I think, would be his grassroots level coach. I think one of the main reasons why, because his action, right, that's what makes him a very unique kind of bowler. I think it's very easy for a grassroots level coach to actually like change the action, because it's uncommon. You make a very clear like spot on kind of technical action, and it gives you like great results. The coach's job is done there. Like you kind of get medium to high level cricketers, but like to stick with that kind of an uncertain action, not knowing about the injury and all these things, it's I think it's kudos to him. And so now let's get into the main man himself. So so Pranav, you may like go, or let's start with Omkar today. So what makes Jasprit Bumrah him? Like what's like, is it just his action, his release point a bit earlier? Like, why is he so special according to you?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me here, and that too to talk about such a legendary figure in Indian cricket for now. And what impresses me the most about Jasprit Bumrah is not only his bowling, but his humility when he talks,
Right.
and the clarity that he has in his interviews. His mind is so clear, and he's so humble about everything that he does. I think he's a perfect role model for anyone who wants to get into cricket or otherwise. He's a fantastic role model. Coming back to the technical aspect of it, I think you nailed it in the first line itself, that his a lot of credit goes to his grassroots coach, because not only his action, if you see from his run up itself, it's so unique. He just walks. His run up
Right.
is almost like a spinner. He comes in walking, he take those short steps, and then it's just the last 20 or 10% of his run up is where the magic happens. Then he gets that load up, and then he's able to uh, put into his action, and then he generates that much pace with that accuracy. He's really a special talent. I think what works for him the best is all the physics around it, because what he does is, because of his action, the ball release point is, again, as you mentioned, that his ball release point is a few yards ahead of the popping crease. So the batter has to adjust that much, because he'll get shorter time than he usually does. Then Bumrah has this high pace, and that again cuts down the time that the batter has to react to the ball, and gauge the length and the line, and then he has everything. I think Bumrah has everything in his arsenal to say that he has a fantastic slow ball, he has a wonderful yorker, he generates swing, he has pace, he can bowl with control. So I think he's a perfect bowler if you want to build a perfect bowler. If you want to add all the characteristics, I think Bumrah has everything that a perfect bowler should have. And I think in his case, it has a lot to do with the physics that he plays around. Because of his action, he has that reverse Magnus effect on the ball. That makes the ball skid
Yeah.
further, and that makes it even more difficult for the batters to face him. So I think all these factors combined make him a very lethal weapon. And as I said, I think he has all the attributes that a perfect bowler should have.
Right. Yeah. Pranav, go ahead. Yeah. Your take.
So for me, actually, if you look at it, I mean, I have nothing different to what's been already said. But if you look at Bumrah as a person, uh, he's not just a bowler but a thinking bowler. Because if you look at him, he reads the conditions so well. Because why is a top notch bowler is because he knows, he understands the conditions or adapts the conditions a bit more better than the other fast bowlers around the arena. Because if you look at him yesterday, when Jake Fraser McGurk was going bang against him, he still managed to outfox him for a couple of deliveries, even though he was hit around the park like other bowlers. He was able to bowl those cutters, his slower deliveries, and was the most economical bowler amongst the lot around people who got hit for runs. And if you look at the purple cap leaderboard, to actually pick 14 wickets with an economy of 6 when 240 has been par across the tournament is absolute madness. Because on and look at where he's playing. He's playing on grounds like Wankhede, on grounds like Chinnaswamy, on grounds like Delhi, where it's pocket sized, and if you're standing at the wicket keeper's end and you just spit your chewing gum, it goes out of bounds. So it's just so small size ground, but still he's able to manage wickets with such consistent economy rate is something that is phenomenal and stands out. And what I like about him is not the way that he is an extremely skillful white ball bowler, but the way he thinks as a test match bowler. Because a lot of people can tell you that okay, Bumrah succeeds in the white ball career because of his use as a bowler. But if you look at him as someone who plays red ball cricket alone, his record speaks volumes for you. Because if we go back to the England tour where we were on the cusp of actually losing the test match, Bumrah brought us back by picking Bairstow and Oli Pope on successive deliveries in the same over. That Yorker to
Right.
Bairstow, and then a ball to Pope. So, and then again in the England series this year, he got out Crawley and Pope at quick junctions, at very important junctures. He got out Root by actually enticing him to play that reverse scoop, which the whole English media slammed Root about. But I think that's the mindset, right? I mean, you want somebody like a Root to be dismissed by somebody like Bumrah. Why do you make that matchup? It's because Bumrah is capable of doing that. And for somebody who's actually capable of doing that, and let me go all out and say this: Mumbai Indians have been running throughout these years. This year, at least the 9 matches that they have played, is all on the basis of Bumrah's shoulders, and there is no one else to support Bumrah, and that's the reason why they have been losing games. But that's a different topic altogether. But the kind of importance that he has, I think if I get a chance at any point of time, they should build a statue for him outside Wankhede, because he has actually carried the whole team for these 10 games throughout the season. And whatever wins that they have at the moment is because of Bumrah. Otherwise, I, I'm sorry to say this to all the MI fans, MI has absolutely no chance anyhow, anywhere on all sorts of games that they have played, because of Bumrah, the economy of MI across this season stands below 10. If you pluck out Bumrah, it goes around 11, 11 and a halves, which is which is which is kind of expected, because you were backing somebody like Romario Shepherd ahead of Yuvan Tushara for I don't know what reason. But that guy has been carrying the entire Indian bowling lineup, Mumbai Indians bowling lineup on his shoulder for the last 2.5 years, which is incredible. And you have to wrap him with a cotton wool. I don't know how what the selectors do. If you want to see another Sean Marsh kind of slower delivery before lunch in Australia, you have to wrap him before in the cotton wool. Just don't play him in the home series at all. We have other potent bowlers for
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to add to Pranav's point that he mentioned earlier, how Bumrah reads the condition. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in the England Test series, I think there was one of the spells where Siraj went through the English batting lineup, and after the match, he was asked about, how did you go about it, and when he was saying in the interview, he said that, when Bumrah started bowling, he came to me and he discussed what length should we bowl and how to bowl to the batters. And actually, I think Bumrah was translating the interview, and when he was translating, he omitted his own name. So it
Right.
shows uh, how good of a thinker he is and how humble he is as a person.
And this was in Rajkot where Ashwin had to unfortunately
Yes,
leave due to
yes,
unfortunate
yes, yes.
reasons, and England were on top. So he's not yet somebody who wants himself to do well for the side, but also influences people around him to bowl. Because if you go back
Correct.
to the Gabba toy that happened, Siraj took his first fifer in Test matches in Gabba, and the first person to hug him was Jasprit Bumrah. He was not playing in that game, but if you look at the footages, and of course the voice of cricket, Harsha Bhogle, also said this, that
Right.
for somebody who is actually playing Test cricket for just 2 years is actually leading the pack. But he wants somebody who has just lost his father picking up a fifer to give him a hug and say, "Boss, you're done really well." And I think that sort of mindset that he develops around people around him is incredible, because you speak to anybody who's in the cricketing fraternity around Bumrah will always be influenced, because if you look at the Ireland T20s that he captained before his return to the World Cup, he backed players. That sort of shows how he wants to play the game, how he wants to let others play the game. Because and for this very reason, I am actually not understanding why MI didn't choose Bumrah as their next captain, because
Exactly.
I can't think of it. Because if you have somebody like Bumrah playing 14 games for you before the World Cup, he's your best choice for the captain, because
Right.
Bumrah will obviously stay with MI forever as long as the franchise exists, because you can't let go of him, and he has to captain obviously. Again, that's a separate discussion, but the point that I'm trying to make here is the kind of influence that he has on the players around him. If you ask the likes of Akash Madhual, I remember an interview from last year where Madhual did really well. I don't know how many times he has mentioned Bumrah's name. So if that sort of influence the person has on the team, why not him as the captain?
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. So like let's like come to an interesting topic. So it's that there's been a lot of talk about ICC tournaments and finals, knockouts, and like India not performing well and something like that. So even if we see at the like recent World Cup which happened, the 50 over one. So if we go to the final which India lost, so it was like Bumrah who gave us those two quick wickets, and then there was a kind of a let off that Siraj couldn't capitalize on those. How these things kind of happened. So like, even though it was definitely not a par score, but anyways, but so do we feel that we are unable to win IC tournaments? Maybe it's a different take. Like, I know like our batting also falters, but so is there a take that we don't have someone supporting Jasprit Bumrah enough in those crucial moments, in those like crunch situations? That's why there's a like we don't clinch those crucial moments, and as a result we lose those matches. Or so I know that there's a lot of white space between Bumrah and the next cricketer, the bowler. But like, who do you think, if we talk about the Indian setup as a fast bowler, who do you think can actually be that bowler who can support Bumrah in those crucial moments, in those crucial, say, even test matches, one day, whatever it is? So who is that person who can actually form a beautiful partnership with him? I know Mohammad Shami did a great job in the World Cup, but like he's also kind of nearing his end of his career. So someone, maybe Omkar, you can say like who do you look forward to, like along with Jasprit Bumrah as maybe the bowling powerhouse of India?
Yeah, I think looking at the current stage, I feel yeah, Mohammad Shami is probably the answer that is in the present. But if we look at the future, I feel yeah, Mohammad Siraj must mature now. We had great expectations from Siraj, but on occasions he has shown a tendency to be wavered, and he has had very on and off performances. Like we saw him in the Asia Cup final and in the World Cup against Sri Lanka, where he was almost unplayable, and his every delivery looked like taking a wicket. I mean, he could have walked away with a 7 wicket, 8 wicket haul. But on the other days, he looked such an ordinary bowler, and that is concerning. And yeah, I feel, but I think at the current situation, he looks like the most promising prospect among the crop that we have. And yeah, one exciting name that everyone is talking about is of course Mayank Yadav. But he's very raw. He has played what only two IPL games for now. So yeah, it would be interesting how he comes about, how his journey pans out. But I feel at this moment we have Siraj.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pranav, so like, so where do you see Bumrah's career in the next 5 6 years? Do you see him becoming captain of any one format of Indian cricket, or do you like play him occasionally in important games and don't give him the added responsibility? On how do you see Bumrah as career growing from here?
I think for him to become a captain, we as a country need to take our obsessions away from a batter being a skipper, because that's been the tendency since I don't know how many years. I've never seen a bowler captain unless Bumrah captained in an unprecedented situation where Rohit had COVID in the last Test match of England series, which I just mentioned a little while ago, where we lost due to Bairstow's
Right.
madness. But I think apart from that, Bumrah is a captaincy material. I'd surely say that, but I don't know where his leadership career is going to end up. But I think he's going to be one of the greatest bowlers we'll celebrate in the future, because obviously we have ICC events every year, but not talking about that. But if you go around the country, we are yet to win a series in South Africa. We are yet to win a series in New Zealand. We are yet to win a series in England. So I think if you want to do these three things in the next 5-6 years, you have to build your attack around Bumrah, and I think he'll be that central figure for us to overcome that sort of you know blockage in our Test series victories against uh, these people, these sites which I've mentioned. So I think that's where it's going to lead us. Probably you're going to see magic even by Bumrah every now and then, again and again, and I hope that continues forever, because uh, Omkar did mention about his run up, but I think after that injury that he had, the Allen series that I was
Hmm.
mentioning, he has actually shortened his run up a bit, and that's due to his technical adjustment that he wants to achieve, that with some steps he wants to generate that pace, and I think that's on the right direction. But as I said again, you have to wrap him with your cotton wool, and I think this I have actually forced to say that you have to use him well, and the situation that currently Mumbai Indians is in, they don't use him well at all. I must admit that, because if you're bowling first on any wicket, the ball should go to Bumrah for first over. I know that people, captains believe in matchups, captains believe in pace swing. If you go back to the Rajasthan Royals game where Mumbai actually scored 180 from being 45 for three, you know that Rajasthan's home. You know they'll come hard at you, but how on earth don't you bowl Jasprit Bumrah and Nuwan Toshara, because you don't have runs with you? So this is just an example, not to again hurt Mumbai Indians fans, but the thing here is you have to use him well, and I think Bumrah not being the captain in that sense for Indian team helps, because he can just focus on his bowling and pick heaps of wickets for India to do well, and I think that's enough for us. You don't have to burden him with captaincy, leadership, all sorts of things. Just leave him alone in his own league, and he'll do wonders for us going forward. And I'm really looking forward to the Border Gavaskar Trophy, because the first test starts in Perth,
Right.
where unlike Adelaide, and I'm really looking forward to somebody like Bumrah bowling to maybe Steve Smith, who's opening the batting. That sort of contest. It depends on who's the captain by then. It depends on who's the coach by then. I don't care. I just want to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to
Right.
watch that match on Star Sports, which will be very very interesting, because Steve Smith is actually a great versus Bumrah, and imagine Steve Smith is actually standing in the Star Sports
Right.
dugout, giving insights on the T20 game. Now then he goes back to Australia, and then he faces Bumrah with the red ball. So cricket can be sometimes funny, but I think, yeah, that's the sort of matchup that I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah. I think the best part about I think there are few cricketers who actually make you want to keep on watching the game totally. Like I think Virat Kohli is one of them, and I think Jasprit Bumrah is definitely another one of them, along with Rohit Sharma definitely. But I think there these few are the treasures of, I don't think, Indian sport, like international cricket in general. I think so it's, as long as they keep playing, it's a treat for the fans, it's a treat for the game of cricket. We should be be blessed and enjoying them every ball they bowl, every match they play. So Omkar, I think so. Like deviating from the topic a bit, since we don't get you often here. So just one question. So a T20 World Cup is coming up, right? So in the Caribbean. So given how things are standing right now, IPL before that. So who's your like? Can you name few players in your squad? Like what will you? Who will you take to the Caribbean?
Yeah, yesterday I came across a very interesting idea on Twitter that someone pointed out that we can just pick the IPL performers and just send them to the T20
Right.
World Cup, and it would be fantastic, honestly, because you play the IPL to build your T20 team, right? And if you're not using the IPL stars in the T20 World Cup, what is this whole exercise for? But I think, yeah, as our selectors have already made it clear that they are going to back experience, and we are going to go with the same squad that we usually go with. So Rohit and Kohli and all are going to be there with Yashasvi in at the third phase with the batters. One of the cases that I would love to fight for is Sanju Samson. I think Sanju Samson has to be in the T20 World Cup squad no matter what. After Rishabh Pant, of course, I think even Rishabh Pant's case is very interesting because he hasn't shown his caliber at the T20I level, but we all know how talented he is, and probably selectors will want to play it safe. And he also adds the left-hand dimension in the middle order. So I think in terms of keepers, I would love to fight the case for Sanju Samson. I think he has to be there in the squad no matter what. I think rest of the squad is almost pretty certain. There are only two, three spots that you are going to debate for. Otherwise, I think we have a very sorted squad. Are there any point of contention that you would like to raise? Any players?
Pranav, go
If
ahead.
you're
Yeah.
asking me, I think T Natarajan is one player who I'd love to actually have in the side because of two reasons. One is
His left arm.
Arshdeep's form has been a bit concerning. Two, the left arm angle that we want,
Yeah.
because again using him is the key, because look how Pat Cummins has been using him. If you need him, you bowl 2 overs in the power play. Otherwise, he just bowls 1 over in the power play, 1 over between 12 to 15 or 10 or 7 to 15, I'd rather put it that way. And then 2 overs at the 10th. And that sort of role clarity is important if you're going to an ICC tournament. And the second player that I would want to put sort of my hunch on is Shivam Dubey, because I'm really not sure about Hardik Pandya's form at this moment, and I'm aware that Ajit Agarkar was watching him yesterday in the afternoon game, that he was in Delhi, and I think the squad selection meeting is already underway. I'm not sure. So, uh, you know, Shivam Dubey is somebody. So, if you're talking about numbers, average power play score in the Caribbean is 46 for one across CPL. This is about last year. So I'm not talking about the US, because that's all drop in pitches. You will see 200 being hit for fun. I know David Hogg, the curator from Adelaide, just gave an interview that they have shifted the pitches. I mean, they have sent the pitches from Adelaide
Yes.
to the US through a ship which aids bounce. So on 60-meter grounds, whatever you put, you're going to be hit. So we have already seen that in the IPL. So I'm not talking about the US. We just need two wins to actually get to that stage where we are talking about the Caribbean. So unless 2007 World Cup scenes happen, we are comfortable. So talking about the Caribbean, I'd need somebody who actually bowls at the death with Bumrah, because like Saptag asked the question before to Omkar, who complements best Bumrah. In this situation, I would say T Nataraj, because you want those Yorkers and the slower deliveries to be bowled to the T, and of course Natarajan has a T before him, but not that T, but actually the execution on point. So he's been actually the pick of the bowlers for Sunrisers, who have been going for fun for 200 and hitting for fun 200. So people have been batting for 200. So Natarajan is one pick. Shivam Dubey, on the other hand, is actually a spin basher, which I would want in my side, because spin versus pace strike rate in Caribbean is actually spin being 19, pace being 26. So if you're looking at that, spinners tend to pick more wickets in 7 to 15. So, that's the phase where Shivam Dubey stands tall and says, "Look, I'm here." Because in Chepauk or in other wickets, of course, the results are there for you to see. Shivam Dubey did not perform in one of the games against Lucknow Super Giants, and Chennai Super Kings comfortably lost that game. So the thing here is that you want somebody like Shivam Dubey in the side to actually attack spin. And where all you will face quality spin, it's against Pakistan, it's against Afghanistan, probably a bit against England as well, because you have Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali bowling. Moeen Ali will play, I don't know, but he would. So that's one area again. And then you would face quality spin against New Zealand. You have Santner, you have the likes of Rachin Ravindra also rolling his arm. So there also you will face quality spin. You might face quality spin against Australia if they play Agar and Zampa both. So we are talking about spin strength in our team. You want at the same time somebody who attacks spin, because Surya can attack spin, but his entry point is the key. Kohli can attack spin, but where he'll bat is the key. Uh, so since these questions are lingering, I would still prefer Dubey over Hardik Pandya, because Dubey also bowls a couple of overs. He has a side strain, has had a side strain because of which he's not bowling. But I'm pretty sure he will bowl in the World Cup because he bowled in the Afghanistan series. Uh, and I recently saw a reel of him where Rohit Sharma made fun of his delivery, where it did not even reach the batsman but the keeper. So it was so slow. So I think, yeah, that gives you an additional dimension. And yeah, and if Sanju Samson is not traveling with the team, I am not supporting Team India, because that is gross injustice to somebody like Sanju Samson, because uh, his consistency issues have been cleared, because he's got 450s this tournament. Earlier it used to be 350s and continuous flop show, but in here he's got 450s. He's actually coming in at 3, which is good news for India, because assuming Rohit and Virat open, you have somebody like Sanju at 3, or he can bat at 5. You can send Surya and Dubey ahead of him. So that's how I look at it. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I hope they don't make a left field choice like KL Rahul, who has been nowhere around the T20 setup, and then just bring him, say, to be a backup keeper and opening batter. That will be
Batter.
gross injustice.
Right. Yeah, so I guess so. So I have a few more questions, but we will like discuss about that in a separate episode, like after the squad is announced and closer to the T20 World Cup. So this is what like I think we had for today. So thank you Omkar for joining. So before I close off, I think one more like player who has been like really playing well in the
Yeah,
IPL is Shashank Singh. I think like we don't talk about these players much, but like he's also experienced. He's not a youngster, so I think like these kind of players actually like light up the IPL and make IPL look is along with the talented youngsters. So yeah, kudos to him, and like hopefully more exciting games this IPL. And thanks for watching, everyone. So hope you enjoyed this tribute show to the one and only Jasprit
Saprat,
Bumrah. Yeah, thanks for
yeah. May I just
yeah,
toss a
sure, sure,
question to you?
sure.
Where would you put Jasprit Bumrah in the list of India's greatest bowlers across formats? Like in each format, where would you place him? Do you think he's already there, Pranav and Saprat?
In each format at T20, definitely. Like one day also, I would definitely test. I'm thinking. Pranav, go ahead. I'm thinking for tests. Wait,
I think if you talk about white ball cricket, he's right up there. Test matches, you need more games from him to actually. He'll
right.
get there in 1 or 2 years, but in white ball cricket, he's one of the greatest after Zahir Khan. Uh, in red ball cricket, you probably have somebody like Ashwin a notch above him, because we generally play spin more. But I think in the fast bowlers category, probably he's getting there. Uh, we need more games. We need more away series wins from him, because earlier away series wins were actually not existent for us, because we didn't focus on fast bowling. But now that focus has slowly come. You would need some time for red ball cricket for him to rise up the ranks. So he should get there in 2 years' time.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I can say is
Agree.
in test, like if he keeps on, like if he keeps playing the matches, he will definitely be the best. So that's that's the thing I'm confident of. Like right now, maybe he needs to play a few more games. So yeah, this is what we had for today. Hope the viewers and watched enjoyed this show. Thanks for joining. Like we will come back again soon with another new episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks.